Whether it was your fault or not, planning for bankruptcy is stressful and embarrassing. My name is John Ross with Finance on a Budget. In this video, I'll talk to you about how to plan for bankruptcy. A lot goes into this, from finally deciding that it's the only option, choosing and speaking to a lawyer, to collecting all the paperwork. You also need to understand the consequences, how it will affect your house, cars, bills, and credit report. But not everyone's experience will be the same. Some people are poor with money management. Others find themselves drowning in medical debt. Hospitals and the virus are putting families into debt for tens of thousands of dollars. I've personally seen bills over $1 million. Yeah, seriously, go look it up. Every month, the late fees and bounce fees become way too much to handle, and at some point, you need the bleeding to stop. With debt collectors calling all day, every day, sometimes your best option is to file for bankruptcy. By definition, bankruptcy simply means that you, as a person or business, are unable to pay for outstanding debts that you may have. The legal process starts by filing a petition, and then all your assets are measured, evaluated, and used to repay part of the outstanding debt. Bankruptcy is often used as a way for people or businesses to get a fresh start, since debts are forgiven in a way that exchanges liquidation of assets for the creditors. Chapter 7 Bankruptcy Explained. More often than not, an individual will file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is where you basically wipe away all your debt. All of the smaller credit cards and personal loans simply go away, never to be heard from again. For cars, you can revalidate the debt, meaning that you will continue to make payments in exchange for keeping it if you want to. If you don't want to keep the car due to a lease or high payments, then you can simply give the vehicle back to the bank. Housing gets a little bit trickier. While you could reevaluate the debt, you probably wouldn't want to. Likely, your mortgage is behind, and part of what actually started all this. What you could do then is go through a loan modification. If approved by you and the court, then you could revalidate the debt based on the new loan guidelines. You could also just walk away and give the house back to the bank as a deed in lieu and avoid having foreclosure on your credit report as well. To summarize, a Chapter 7 is used to remove all the debt, giving you a chance to start over fresh. The only catch is your credit was, and further will be, destroyed. No future loans will be given to you for another 2 years, so be sure to have a place to stay and transportation to get to work with. You can only file Chapter 7 once every 8 years, so be sure that now is the right time. Please be sure to click the like button and comment if you can. Those are the 2 ways that will help this channel most to grow. Quickly, Chapter 11 bankruptcy is when businesses file bankruptcy in order to reorganize or somehow still remain in business. This provides businesses with an opportunity to create new plans for profitability and think about new ways to increase revenues. When this happens, only preferred stockholders may receive any payments left. Common stockholders won't receive anything. Chapter 13 Bankruptcy Explained. For people who earn a sizable income or who want to protect valuable property, will file for Chapter 13. This type of bankruptcy will help you create a workable debt repayment plan in installments over the next 3 to 5 years. In this type of bankruptcy, you can still keep the property as long as you have a solid repayment plan for the creditors. This type of bankruptcy has its benefits, but it is still a bankruptcy. This means that it will still show on your credit report. When it comes to future loans, I doubt if any future bank cares whether you're paying back your loans under a Chapter 13 or not while doing the Chapter 7. The goal under Chapter 13 is to keep your property and get the payments current. If the court decides that you can afford your current bills and have the ability to make extra payments for the house or car, then you may qualify. Just keep in mind, here you will need to pay back all of your secure and priority debts in full. These are things like the house, car, student loan, alimony, and child support. Unsecured debt like credit cards are still often not paid back. However, you still have to prove to the court that you are saving any extra income with the intent of paying those back too. What are the basics that you need to know? A bankruptcy trustee is a person or corporation that is appointed by the bankruptcy court to act on a creditor's behalf. You'll likely meet with a nonprofit budget and credit counseling agency individually or as a group before you are even allowed to file for bankruptcy. And when the proceedings are done, the bankruptcy is considered discharged. Upon bankruptcy, you can liquidate your assets by selling non-exempt property. Some property types are exempt from sale, which are called exempt property. Before filing, you will be required by the Bankruptcy Code to demonstrate that you really don't have the means to repay your debts, so a means test will be conducted in order to avoid abuse of the bankruptcy. In a means test, your income, assets, expenses, and unsecured debt will be investigated. In my experience, this is fairly uneventful and largely handled by your lawyer. You just have to give them a breakdown of the money in and money out. You know, the budget that you should have been doing this whole time. Once bankruptcy is good to go, remember that not all debts can be forgiven. You can't wipe the slate clean with debts such as student loans, alimony, child support, reaffirmed debt, government fines, court penalties, secured debt like car loans or mortgages, and finally, a federal tax lien for taxes that you owe to the U.S. government. You will have to take an online video seminar and answer questions about what you were just told. It's pretty stupid, quite honestly, and it's just a way to get extra money out of you that you don't have. When can I start bankruptcy? To make sure you fully understand what you're getting yourself into, the very first step to filing for bankruptcy is to consult an attorney. While you can technically do it all yourself or through a nonprofit organization, I would still suggest paying someone. Depending on where you live, the cost will vary greatly. For where I am in Connecticut, the average cost for a Chapter 7 is about $1,200, and closer to $1,700 for a Chapter 13 because it's much more complex. Then you will need to head down to a credit counseling organization approved by the Department of Justice's U.S. Trustee Program for a counseling session to help you evaluate your personal financial situation as well as gauge your options. You will discuss different alternatives to bankruptcy, if any, then create a budget plan. Before you file a petition for bankruptcy, keep in mind that the bankruptcy protection is not free and not all kinds of debt can be forgiven. You will have to file schedules of your assets, liabilities within 14 days of filing of a bankruptcy petition. Not doing this in a timely manner may lead to the dismissal of the bankruptcy. You may also be barred from filing again for 180 days. That's 6 whole months of waiting. You may also be denied if you give fraudulent information, and this may even be punishable as a criminal offense. You will also need to provide a statement of your current monthly income upon filing. Prepare a transcript of your IRS tax returns. Then, make sure that you have enough to pay for the filing fees and the lawyer fees. You can use a bank cashier's check or a U.S. postal money order to pay the filing fees at the clerk's office. This is because cash is not accepted. By the way, filing for bankruptcy isn't something you just decide overnight. The effects of declaring bankruptcy will stay with you for several years to come. You won't even be able to get a new crappy credit card for at least another year. And you can forget about a car loan or mortgage anytime soon either. Additionally, it stays on your credit report for 10 years. I'll repeat that, 10 years. This record may also negatively affect your ability to get a loan, rent an apartment, get insurance, or even find a job. Shoot, even the cell phone company will charge you higher rates for your leased phones. Because your bankruptcy will be part of a public record, anyone can clearly see it, so you need to make sure you know the consequences fully. It's not just about a temporary relief, it's also about how your finances will look in the long run. However, if you are willing and able to take this opportunity to make severe changes in your lifestyle, then this can be a worthwhile process. Don't be tempted to drain your retirement account to pay off debt. Neither should you move assets around to find loopholes where you're declaring your assets for bankruptcy. It may be tempting to sell, transfer for safekeeping, or hide your assets, but doing so can lead to criminal charges. Don't fail to file the income tax returns or ignore any lawsuits that are filed. Assume that they can dig up anything and simply plan for that. The bottom line is to get your affairs in order with a lawyer before jumping the gun. Bankruptcy is a serious matter, and you need to know all of the legal ramifications inside and out before you file a petition. This is going to take several months, and none of it is going to be fun. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Thanks for watching.